the 12 disciples into 4 sets of 3. That's why that guy's looking the other way. And it's an interesting question. Did God create a law like eons ago that religious deities could only have 12 disciples or followers? Do you know that? They're every bloody where. They've all got 12. I mean, is it in the contract or what? And you get King Arthur, the center, the sun, and the knights of the Round Table. The 12 knights of the Round Table. At the top of the SS, you had Heinrich Himmler, who was, he had this knights organization, and he was at the center of it, Himmler, and he had 12 knights around his round table. This constant recurrence of this same symbolism and this same knowledge and techniques. So that's what that was all about. And also, Leonardo da Vinci was another man, like Christopher Columbus and Nostradamus, who was employed by the de' Medici family and indeed funded and sponsored by the de' Medici family, a major Illuminati family from Venice, Italy. A lot of the so-called deities that supposed to have existed were symbolized with these classic sun symbol headgear and what have you around them. This is a Phoenician stone in Britain which symbolizes their sun god, Bel, which also manifested as Baal. They called it Bel, B-E-L. And there's the halo they put around the head to indicate that it was symbolizing the sun, not a literal person. So out of this knowledge came, as I said earlier, prison religions that were created to imprison the mind. Instead of saying, well, I'll look at this religion, I'll look at that religion, I'll look at that religion, and what I think is right from all of them I'll take, and what I'm not sure about, you can keep that. I don't feel right to me. I'll come to my truth, thank you. Instead of that, you get an off-the-peg religion, and you have to contract to all elements of it, no matter how nonsensical you may be, because if you don't, you're not a Christian, you're not a Jewish, you're not a Jew, you are not a Hindu, you are not a Muslim, because you don't contract to all these things. Don't think for your bloody self. You take what we say off the peg is the truth. So let's have a look where some of these things came from. That sums up religion for me. There's these two old, kind of, Stone Age people, and they've got these 2 pile of stones here, like, and he's saying to his mate, doesn't Throng look silly? He must know that our pile of rocks is the real God, And that's the way that we've gone. We have been focused away from the fact that we are multidimensional infinity, not only part of the great I, we are the great I, into thinking that we have to look up to some deity that's been created, and there's always a middleman in between us and the deity. Have you noticed that? What I call the religious Mr. 15%. I mean, is it really not possible to talk to the divine without going through a bloke in a long frock? I mean, is it possible or what? I don't know. Maybe it's me. And here's something else I find interesting, because I'm a strange man. You look at the origin of all the major prison religions, and where do they come from? The same area of the world. Judaism, Christianity, Islam come from there, of course, but so does Hinduism, which was taken into the Indus Valley, the stories that later became the Vedas, the religious books, etc., by, according to conventional history, a white race from the Caucasus Mountains that went in there. And, as I said earlier, one of the focuses in the ancient world, the focus probably, of these particular bloodlines I'm talking about, was Babylon. And out of Babylon, funnily enough, just a coincidence, has come the blueprint for control by religion. In Babylon, they had, this is a Freemasonic symbol, but it symbolizes a lot of the Babylonian stuff. this manifested this image of the eagle looking both ways here as the Roman god Janus, of the face looking both ways. And one of the major mind control projects on the planet is the Janus project, based at NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium. But in ancient Babylon, they had three deities in their trinity. That comes up again and again. One was Nimrod, the father, and then there was Tammuz or Ninus, the son, and they said that the father and son were one, and only through them could you get to heaven. And the female aspect of the Trinity was Queen Semiramis, who they symbolized as a dove. They symbolized Nimrod as a fish. And what they said about Tammuz Ninus, the son, was that he died to save humanity thousands of years before Christianity. And when they killed him, they put him in a tomb, they rolled a rock across the front, and 3 days later, when they rolled it back, Tammuz had scarpered. I think I've heard that somewhere before. And what you get is this recurring theme and these recurring stories, which, as the passage of time goes, just get put in a different context, a different time frame, with different names. And we're supposed to take them all bloody literally. I mean, like, you know, we take this guy literally. You see, when the Illuminati moved from their center in Babylon to Rome, not only did you get the Roman Empire, you got the Roman Church, which became the Christian Church. So we went from the place Babylon, where the blueprint of control by religion and the stories that so many of them came out of, they moved home to Rome, and suddenly we get another religion that's based on the same stories. The coincidences are amazing. Oh, he's got a big hat, look, you know. I love his hat. Actually, someone pointed out some of the symbolism of that. When you look at that hat sideways, it's like a fish head, you know. And the fish head keeps coming up in terms of Nimrod, which symbolizes a fish. Now, this is a wonderful example. You look at the deities who died so our sins could be forgiven, died at Easter, and born on December 20th as the Virgin Mother. There's endless numbers of them. This is a classic, one called Mithra. Mithra was basically replaced by Christianity. And the reason that so many people moved from Mithra worship across to Christian worship was because it was so bloody seamless, or just the names changed. Everything else was the same. They symbolized Mithra as a lion, the sun. They said that he held the keys to heaven. And there's the serpent, the snake, going around him. They said of Mithra, he was born to a virgin mother. He died to save the sins of humanity. They brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh to his birth. And on it goes. It's just a mirror. When you go back even further to ancient Egypt, on the left, you've got Horus, the son of God of ancient Egypt, that is constantly symbolized, as I've shown, by the Illuminati, who go back to the Egypt big time with the bloodlines. And on the right is Jesus. Some interesting little correlations here. Where are we? Jesus was the light of the world. Horus was the light of the world. Jesus said he was the way, the truth, and the life. Horus said he was the truth, the life. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, the house of bread. Horus was born in Anu, the place of bread. Jesus was the good shepherd. Horus was the good shepherd. 7 fishers board a boat with Jesus. 7 people board a boat with Horus. Jesus was the lamb. Horus was the lamb. Jesus is identified with a cross. Horus is identified with a cross. Jesus was baptized at 30. Horus was baptized at 30. Jesus was the child of a Virgin Mary. Horus was the child of a Virgin Isis. The birth of Jesus was marked by a star. The birth of Horus was marked by a star. Jesus was the child teacher in the temple. Horus was the child teacher in the temple. Jesus had 12 disciples. Horus had 12 followers. Jesus was the morning star. Horus was the morning star. Jesus was the Christ. Horus was the Christ. Jesus was tempted on a mountain by Satan. Horus was tempted on a mountain by Set. Did they have plagiarism laws in those days? I don't know. We seem to be...